another Ed Dubois masterpiece. This is one of his sailing yachts, Mondango. You want to tell us a little bit about this one, Ed?
I'd love to. Mondango is the third of three 52-meter sailboats, Kokomo, Red Dragon, and she was launched at the end of last year, 2008. And before that, before the Three Sisters, as we call them, we did Salperton and Tiara, also flybridge boats. And those boats raced across the Atlantic in 2005 and got first and second, respectively. Salperton was then renamed Drumbeat. And they had a lot of wind. I was on board the boat, we had a lot of wind, and the boats performed beautifully. All the systems worked the whole time. Nothing broke except we had a breakage in the mainsail, which we fixed. Broke another halyard, Tiara had a halyard break, but a lot of other boats did have serious breakdowns. So that was a real testament to Alloy Yacht's workmanship, that both those boats raced across the Atlantic, 400-ton boats racing across the Atlantic in very severe weather, and they were first and second. It's an amazing achievement. And down below, while it was wild and windy and cold up on deck, down below we had 2 chefs, we had 3 hot meals a day, we were watching DVDs off watch. It was a bizarre feeling from going from the wild, windy, haily weather, doing a 4-hour watch, and then going down below and watching the crew watching a DVD of Pride and Prejudice. And it was perfectly sound, and they were eating roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. It was great.
So does being a real sailor, it must influence your designs and the capabilities of the designs that you've come up with?
Sure, I don't think you could design a sailing boat without loving sailing and understanding sailing thoroughly. I got into yacht design because I loved sailing as a boy. It was my passion, and so I wanted to be a yacht designer from teenage years, and learned about how to be that at college, and then did racing yachts. And I don't think you could be a really good cruising yacht designer unless you've also designed racing boats, because you have a total understanding of the sea and seaworthiness when you design a racing yacht, because you see very clearly what the sea likes and what it doesn't like in terms of speed and seaworthiness. And so I think to be a thoroughly good cruising yacht designer, you need to have designed racing yachts at some point in your career.
Well, you certainly have plenty of experience with that. I think a lot of us would like to see a little bit more of Mondango. We have a little bit of a tour, Ed?
Certainly, Norma.
Great, follow us.
We try to hide everything to make it look clean and tidy, so we bury the chain plates in the deck rather than have the chain plate protruding up over the deck.
So nothing to stub your toes on?
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Or as little as possible to stub your toes on. This glass is probably the only thing on this boat not built in New Zealand. The glass is from Germany. Very good quality glass, which we can't find in New Zealand yet, but everything else, including the winches, the hatches, the doors, the upholstery, the mast, spars, everything is built in New Zealand.
Hello, how are you? Very well, thank you. Sorry.
So again, here we bury the mainmast cap chain plate is buried in the deck. The V1, the D1 buried in the deck. This is the tender bay, which is currently decked out for when the boat's in harbour or in a bay. The tender is hanging over here, and you put a dam through the middle, which is stowed at the back end of the bay normally when the tender's there. Put the dam in the middle, and then you fill it up with water and you've got a jacuzzi.
It feels mighty nice. I tell you, on a nice hot day, wouldn't you love to take a swim on the bow of your sailing yacht? I think I would.
And also it's great for children. You know, if you don't want the children in the sea, if it's a bit rough, for little children I mean, they can paddle, they love it here.
And it looks like you have seats in there, so you can actually sit back and drink a cocktail and relax while you're cooling yourself down.
It's all been planned.
Beautiful. Of course. Wow, take a look at this winch.
This is a captive winch. We did our first big boat in 1985, a Quell 2. She wasn't built by Alloy Yacht, she was built actually just next door with an independent setup. We knew we had to devise a captive winch because the loads are so high on the sheets that you can't safely handle them on a conventional winch. So we actually designed, in league with somebody called Peter Powell from England, an adaptation of a fishing reel winch, and that was a captive winch. And we sold those winches to New Zealand for that boat, a Quell 2, and to Alloy Yachts for the first boat we built with Alloy. And the Kiwis looked at this winch and they thought, yeah, that's a clever idea, but we can improve it. And now they build all their own winches in-house at Alloy. So these winches are built by Alloy Yachts.
From your inspiration to the betterment of an entire country's industry, you're really something else, Ed. You're helping out a lot of people.
I don't think it's inspiration, I think it's natural common sense, actually. This is a powered sheave because we had to pull the sheet out of the boat. Otherwise, if it just pulls out by the sail, it'll pull out jerkily and you might get the sheet getting in a tangle inside the boat. So that pulls the sheet out onto the deck so that there's no tangles happening inside the coamings.
And the stainless steel work is absolutely beautiful. Do you get down into designing all the details of that type of thing as well?
Yes, we do. We designed this cleat, which Alloy approved. I think they made a few little changes to make it easier to build, but we came up with the design of that cleat, which Alloy Yacht.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Let's go up on the flybridge.
Sure.
This one you can eat at properly. These are open up, so you can seat 10 people around this table. It has a fridge, has everything up here that you need. It has this bimini arrangement, so you don't get too hot from the sunshine, and you can still sail when this bimini is up, which is good. But if you want to take it down, you can. Those posts come down in a jiffy. You can put it up in 10 minutes, take it down in 5.
Beautiful.
And obviously you can steer the boat from here and sail. All the sail controls are from up here. And if you want protection from if it's horrible weather, under this cover there's like a pram hood that comes up over, which you can see through, so you're protected up here.
Wow, now look at all those controls you have there. You know, isn't this kind of like, you know, having too many remote controls on a television? Couldn't you incorporate these all into one?
It's difficult because each one does a sheet or a halyard, so you need something to control each individual sheet and halyard. You soon get used to it, I promise.
I was really only kidding, Ed.
And you see that thing there? That's a furling pad eye. When you hoist the mizzen staysail, you tack it onto that, and then you hoist it furled, and then you unfurl it.
Wow.
And it's sheeted from the end of the mizzen boom.
Isn't that something?
That's a punchy sail. That's a real punchy sail. So this is what we did with Salperton and then Tiara, and then these 3 sisters, is take the level from the outside right through into the inside, which is the first time that had ever been done, I believe. And
That makes it super comfortable, but I have to say I'm immediately struck by the fabulous design of that stainless steel work. Is that something that you do?
No, this interior, we do the layout, we do the architecture, but not the interior decoration. The interior decoration of this boat was done by a British company called, well, half British, half French, called Raymond Langton.
Of course.
And this is the first sailboat they've done. They've done many motor yachts, but they haven't done the same. So we introduced the owners to a number of interior designers, and they chose Raymond Langton, and I think they've done a lovely job. So they designed that. Actually, some scrap stainless steel that the yard had out the back, so they've just...
Good. Might as well use it for something while you're at it. She's absolutely spectacular, Ed. Wow.
Okay. Do sign up here. This is good.
I have to say, this is the end of another day at the Monaco Yacht Show, and what a fantastic way to go. Mondango is one of the most beautiful sailing yachts I've ever seen in my life. And to have a tour from you, Ed, that makes it even more special.
It's my privilege.
Thank you. See you next time on Yachting Today.
Excellent.